Okay, today we're going to talk about Article 3. This is split in two commas. The first is called formal equality, and the second is called substantive equality, because the state actually is instructed to do something to create this equality, whereas the formal equality is the recognition formally that we are equal. So it starts like this: tutti i cittadini hanno pari dignità sociale. So we've all got equal social dignity. What does that mean? What does social dignity mean? Social dignity means equal value or equal respect. We can understand this better looking at the fascist period and seeing what the founding fathers had in mind when they wanted this equality of social dignity. During the fascist period, the Jewish people didn't have equal value. The state, for example, excluded them from education. They couldn't be professors or even educated in the education system. They were left out as if they were worth less. They weren't worth investing in. So we can see that they were considered of less worth. These laws, these racial laws, meant that they were considered formally as having less value, and even there was the belief, the philosophy that the Italian was the superior race. They didn't have equal value with the Italian because the Italian was superior, and obviously this needed to change. So they created this idea of equal value, and when we vote, every vote has equal value, has equal. No one has a weighted vote. That all the votes are worth the same, and that's a symbol of that dignità sociale, quality of social dignity. But also it's about respect, because we go and look at Germany, for example. In Germany, if a Jewish person was walking on the pavement and there were two Germans on the pavement, the Jew would have to get into the road, into the gutter, and let the Germans go past, as if, as only the Germans deserved respect. The Jewish people didn't deserve the same respect. Look at the Americans in the 1960s with the blacks on a bus. If a black person was on a bus sitting in a seat and a white person came in the bus, they would have to offer their seat to the white person. Obviously, they didn't have the same respect. This respect is this equality of social dignity, and diffusion of respect is fundamental for democracy. Democracy is not just about voting and separation of powers and independent press and other independent judiciary, etc. It is also on a cultural level how people are treated. Are they treated in a different way, not just by law, but also culturally? And the founding fathers thought this was worth mentioning in Article 3 in your founding principles. In England, we don't have equal social dignity in the system, because obviously we've got the Queen, and with the Queen comes the class systems and with that comes the deference of the lower classes to the upper classes. If I see the Queen, I have to show her a lot of respect, and she has a lot more value than me. I have to get on my knee and call her Her Majesty and show a lot of deference, and that goes through the class system. So that's in the system. The inequality of social dignity is symbolised by that. And then it continues and says, e sono uguali davanti alla legge. So it's not just equal social dignity, so culturally equal, not just treatment in a social sense of equality, but also the law must treat you equal as an equal. It must be applied equally. When we talk about everyone is equal in front of the law, we are talking about the fact that we all have the same law applied in an equal way to everybody. There's not one law for one and another law for the other. When we talk about a juridical norm, there's two characteristics that are very important, and they are abstract and general. That's because that means that they are applied to all situations. They are a hypothetical situation. For example, don't steal. And they are applied to everyone. They're general, so they're applied to everyone. So it's not, Bill, you must not steal Bob's computer. That's not a law, that's a command. A law says nobody must steal, full stop. So we're not talking about a specific situation or a specific person. If we were, it would be a command. So when we talk about equality in front of the law itself treats everyone as the same. We can't have two laws applied to different people. One law for maybe women and another law for men. This is very important in the English system. We also have equality in front of the law, and this dates back to 1215 in the Magna Carta. The Magna Carta was a way of limiting the power of the king and saying that the king is not above the law. The law is above the king. Suddenly we have the rule of law, and that the king must have fair trials. He can't just judge everyone according to what he feels in that moment. Again, it's not, it must be abstract and general, so it's applied to everyone in the same way. And also in the Magna Carta, it talks about the people are judged by 12 of their equals. So you've got a jury. You're not judged by the king. Whether you're guilty or not, you're judged by a jury. So here we've got a little bit of the separation of powers coming in. So this equality in front of the law and the rule of law, very, very important pillar of the English Constitution. Remember, we've got the three very important pillars: rule of law, parliamentary sovereignty, and representative democracy. So the rule of law is a fundamental principle of the English Constitution. Then it continues, senza distinzione di sesso, di razza, di lingua, di religione, di opinioni politiche, di condizioni personali e sociali. Now, why doesn't it just say sono uguali davanti alla legge? They're equal in front of the law. Full stop. That's enough. That should express everything. I think the Founding Fathers were considering what our usual prejudices are, what we usually prejudge others according to specific characteristics like their race, their sex, their political opinion, their personal and social conditions, etc., their religion. Normally we prejudge according to these categories. We put people into our idea of whether they're guilty or innocent, but the law cannot do that. That's what it's saying. The law must see everyone as the same. Often we see justice as a symbol of a woman with a sword and blindfolded, so she can't see, because for justice to happen, everyone's the same. Doesn't matter who comes in front of the law, they are treated in the same way. There's no prejudice, there's no prejudging. First we hear the situation and then we judge.